issues, never know what's going to work and what's not. So for the platforms it is live on, I'm going to start here, and we will expand on everything. So today we're going to be diving deep on intent and impact. Been talking about it this week. And what I like to do is each day give you 10 minutes of the bullet points, and then I'll expand on the points for just another 10 minutes. So if you can stick around the entire time, great. But if you can't, stick around for the first 10 minutes. Get the basics, because this stuff literally can make a difference in how you're communicating with somebody today. At Tomorrow's Police Officer, the reason that I'm going live every day is to be able to share information with you, to help make your lives better, to make police officers communicate, be able to have the tools to communicate better on the street, and hopefully make you safer and make your lives better. And certainly when you get home, when you're around the people that you love, that you're able to communicate better in those situations too. So it looks like we're not going live on Facebook, so I'll post I'll post this later on Facebook, but for now, right now, we're live on YouTube. So intent and impact. I mentioned something yesterday, and I want to make sure that I close the loop on that. And that was an example that I used where you can say the exact same words to somebody one way and use those same words in a different way and generate a completely different result, have a completely different impact. And the phrase that I used as an example yesterday was kiss my ass. Now, those words can be said with an intonation of a volume, tone, pitch, melody that conveys anger. Kiss my ass. And you're going to get a complaint out of that. You're going to get a CCF, citizen complaint form. You're going to generate a complaint for discourtesy. Or if you say, kiss my ass, same exact words. And they'll laugh with you. And they're like, they know what your intent is. And because of the way that you said it, your impact is different. Part of intent and impact in this discussion is knowing your audience. I can use those words, kiss my ass, with the audience that I have. If I was standing in front of a church crowd on a Sunday morning as a guest speaker, then I probably would choose a different phrase. But we're cops. We're used to a certain type of language. We get it. So again, knowing your audience makes a difference. There might even be some of you that would be offended that I used the A word. And if I offended you, I certainly didn't mean to do that. I'm using that phrase because it's become a cop phrase and we relate to that. So I want you to understand my intent. And I say this because of the next really important point. So first is how you say it, your facial expressions, your body language that goes with it, and your audience. Those are really key areas. The second really big point is this. As I reached out to a friend of mine. Her name is Lori, an amazing friend. We've known each other for 9 years now, and we have a very unique relationship. It's a trust-based relationship. And what comes out of that was something that really hit me strong this morning. I had reached out to her yesterday and I asked her for some feedback. Hey, would you do me a favor, watch some of the videos and let me know. I'd like to know, and if you, as you watch this video, put some, send me a message. Let me know what you think. Is this helping you? Is it a waste of your time? Is it stuff you already know and forgot and want to be reminded of, or maybe it's stuff that you've never heard before? please let me know. So that's what I did with Lori. I reached out to her and I said, hey, can you do me a favor, watch these and give me some feedback? Because I know she's going to give me feedback that's straight up and honest. And if there's something that I'm missing, she'll let me know. Again, trust-based relationship. We have trust-based communication. And she gave me some feedback. And what I realized in this conversation was that with my relationship with Lori, because we have this foundation, if I get something wrong, she's going to take some extra time to allow me to get it right, and vice versa. So I knew in the feedback that if she said something and then wanted to come back later and, I could have said it better, or I should have used different words, it caught me at a bad time, any number of things. She knows that I would give her that same space to be able to get it right. And, I've used the phrase several times. It's one of my favorite phrases. Do you want to be right or get it right? And each of us knows that we want to get it right. It's inherent. It's unspoken. We've learned that about each other. We learned that about each other relatively soon after we met each other. And that trust has been established. So your relationship with the person that you're communicating, I want to throw in that if you're always working toward a trust-based relationship, then your ability to kind of shift your communication when you need to, when you don't get it right at first, but you can kind of circle back around and get it right later, is much easier. It's so much easier than the other person going, that's it. I'm cutting you off. I'm never talking to you again. I didn't like how you spoke with me. And this is critical to understand because it relates directly to when I talk about trust-based policing. See, when we work on trust-based policing, when we try to go in our encounters with the public with that mindset, my goal, my key KPI, my key performance indicator, my metric, my standard of whether I'm working under a trust-based policing model is simple. Did I, during my time with a citizen, increase or decrease the level of trust that they have in law enforcement? And when I've talked about this relationship with the public, I want to make sure something's really clear. I've said that the trust has been damaged. The trust has been broken. And it's law enforcement's responsibility to repair that relationship. Please understand and know without any doubt that I believe that law enforcement officers are doing their absolute best out there every single day. Yes, there's a tiny percentage that they shouldn't be law enforcement officers. Tiny percentage. We're always going to have that. Every occupation does, because guess what? We hire from the human race, and none of us are perfect. So at the same time, I am not saying when the relationship has been damaged, I'm not saying the cops went out there and did something wrong. I'm not saying they went out there and they tried to damage the relationship. I'm not even saying that they are the ones that damaged the relationship. What I'm saying is there is an overall drop in trust from the public of the police, of law enforcement. Now, there's some incredibly staunch supporters of law enforcement, which we really appreciate. But there's some that don't trust us at all, and there's some in the middle. So here's the cool thing. I'm going to draw this back to my relationship with Lori again. She would be like the equivalent of a staunch supporter of law enforcement. So when I go into a conversation with her and I do things that just continue to reinforce that trust-based relationship that we have, it just makes it stronger. It doesn't hurt it. There's no harm in that. It actually continues to elevate the relationship. If I go into a conversation with a friend of mine where we're kind of in the middle, and I work toward a trust-based communication, a trust-based relationship with that friend, again, it elevates it. And if I have a conversation with someone who, for whatever reason, doesn't know me, doesn't like me, doesn't trust me, any of those, or all three, then working toward a trust-based relationship with that person is attempting to repair that relationship. That's the analogy for what we do at Tomorrow's Police Officer. Everything's based on that foundation of trust-based communication, trust-based policing. And when we're looking at the impact that we have, and when we approach communication with that intent, we can say, "Kiss my ass," and they'll know where we're coming from. But the person that doesn't know, like, and trust us, we can't say that to. We have to go. Oh, that's knowing your audience, and it's not a good idea to. It's not that we can't. It's not. I'm not going to go into the compelled speech. What I am going to say is, it is really not a good idea to say that. So keep these things in mind as you communicate with people. That's the 10 minutes for 10 at 10. And if you're going about your day right now, no hard feelings, please check us out at tomorrowspoliceofficer.com, Facebook / Tomorrow's Police Officer / live to catch our lives. And I look forward to seeing you the next time. If you're sticking around, I got 10 more minutes of amazing stuff on what we just talked about. Okay, so let's dive a little bit deeper on these things. We talked about languaging. We talked about knowing your audience. The words that you choose are important, but they're not as important. You know, the studies that they've done, and some people say the studies are fully accurate and you should trust them. And I'm always with data. I always take a look at it and go, okay, does it make sense? And this data makes sense to me, which is the words that you use, while they're important, have the least impact. The actual words, about 7% of your communication. Now, 7% is a significant amount, but now we got 93% left over. Where's the rest of it come from? It comes from body language. It comes from the tone of voice, your volume, pitch, tone, pace, melody. All of that affects the message that you're sending. And then the body language that goes along with it. Are you smiling? Are you laughing? Are you turned away? Are you closed up? All these are part of the message that you send, and the vast majority of the message that you send. So keeping aware of what we're focusing on, which is the impact, then we can decide how we're going to present ourselves when we pay more attention to it. Now, here's a really cool concept that I want to share with you. And this concept helped me frame the reason, or help frame the understanding of why people act the way that they act. This is one small part of it. It's a framework for understanding. It's not complete. It's just parts of it. And it goes like this. Do you have a favorite t-shirt or a sweatshirt or, a favorite shirt? Now, I put this shirt on today, and this happens to be one of my favorite shirts. I put it on. I'm like, this is just I put this shirt on. It feels good. I like the color. I like the pattern. I like how it feels. I like how it fits. And it's not my most favorite shirt. That wasn't great English, but it's not my most favorite shirt in the closet. But it's in the top 10. So I would tend to choose this shirt over some of the others I have in my closet. Do you have a favorite pair of pants? Favorite pair of shoes? I just got rid of. In fact, I mentioned my friend Lori. I still remember the most expensive pair of shoes I ever bought. I happened to buy here in San Diego at the Roadrunner store, and Lori happened to be with me. And it was 9 years ago. I just got rid of those shoes. They just finally wore out. They lasted 9 years, and they were, I put them on and I went, oh my gosh, I have never felt so comfortable in a pair of shoes. They were the most comfortable shoes I've ever had. And I just replaced them. Diane and I went to Roadrunner, and I took a picture of these shoes because they were so torn up and muddy from boot camp at Fitness Quest 10, and they were just trashed. And so I took a picture of them, and I showed the photo to the guy, and he goes, "Oh yeah," he says, "we don't make those anymore, but we have a pair that's very similar." And I got them, and they were cheaper. They weren't as expensive, which was nice. But I put these on, and I'm like, okay, these are darn close if they're not exactly as good. I'll wear these shoes a lot. And I'll tend, anytime I go to run, these are the shoes that are going on my feet. Behavior is that way. See, we tend to have behaviors. We have defaults that we go to, largely based on personality science. And we'll be talking about that, and coming up over the next 90 days, we'll be talking about personality science and how you figure out why people do the things that they do. And we'll be sharing that information with you. But just like you have a favorite pair of shoes, t-shirt, pants, clothes that you tend to gravitate to, now you have choices. You might be in business situations, and so or formal parties that you'll go to, that you'll dress up nice for because it's the Christmas party or the New Year's Eve party, and you'll dress up for that. Maybe it's a black tie affair, and you've got a favorite suit or a favorite tuxedo that you wear. It's appropriate for the circumstances. You probably have professional clothing that you would wear at an office. You probably have casual clothing. Maybe you have yoga clothes or workout clothes. Casual clothes for just everyday lounging around the house on a Saturday afternoon when you're just working on the house. Maybe you have work clothes. For law enforcement, we have our uniforms. But I'm willing to bet in your uniforms you have favorites. You have a particular, maybe a couple shirts and pants and boots that fit you really well if you're working patrol, detectives' favorite suits that you prefer. But if you're a detective wearing a suit, you're going to wear that style on a regular basis. So what I'm saying is you have certain groups of clothing that you wear, and among those groups you have your favorites. Well, how you act and where your intent is, where you're acting, is just like that. See, people tend to have, and I want to pull up my notes here because I don't want to get this wrong. They tend to have 4 intents. Intention. Two is get the task right. 3 is get along with people. And 4 is get appreciation from people. When we have these intentions, and just so you know, I'm not going to be diving into all 4 of those today. Next week, I'm going to be diving into those. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm going to be taking each one of those and diving deep into those. 10 at 10 minutes, 10 in the morning. And if you don't catch it live, that's okay. There'll be a replay available. So you can go to Tomorrow's Police Officer or Facebook.com/Tomorrow's Police Officer. Find them. You can also find them on our YouTube channel. If you're doing a search and can't find them, go to tomorrowspoliceofficer.com and look under the section for the videos. And I'm posting all the videos on the website. They'll be up over the next day or so, and then they'll be updated usually within 24 hours. So if you missed the live, don't sweat it. You can catch the replay. So of these 4 intents, get the task done, get the task right, get along with people, get appreciation from people. The reason I like to use these 4 intents is because it's a simple framework to understand, because there's really only 2. One deals with tasks and one deals with people. Also, that's all you have to remember. And then it's either get it done, get it right, get along with people, get appreciation from people. And when you start to understand where people are coming from, all of a sudden becomes much easier to communicate with them. So you're not talking to people, you're talking with people. You're not just hearing people, you're actually listening to people. See, the cool thing about knowing this stuff that I like is this. Before I knew this stuff, when I watched somebody, I was watching at a surface level. Now, because I know this stuff, I'm watching at a deeper level. I'm paying more attention. I'm listening for keywords that somebody uses. They're not just blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay. I'm listening carefully to them. And the cool thing about communication is it makes communication better when someone's clearly paying attention to what you're saying. And I remember better what they say because I'm listening for certain things. I'm listening to see whether they're a visual, auditory, or kinesthetic person. I'm listening for what type of personality they are in the bank code, blueprint, action, nurture, knowledge. I'm listening for what's their intent, get the task done, get the task right, get along with people, get appreciation from people. I'm listening for all these things. And so because of it, what I do is have more rapport with somebody. And when you have deeper rapport with somebody, they tend to tell you things that they ordinarily wouldn't. Short example, I was at the Costco near where I live, and we were, our daughter had wanted a replacement cell phone for Christmas. So I was talking to the guy and about getting a cell phone, and I came home and Diane's like, "Hey, did you get the phone?" I'm like, "Yep, got it. It's going to be shipped. I didn't have it in stock, but they're shipping it. It'll be here in 2 days." Boy, I tell you what, my life is good because the guy I was talking to at Costco sold me, handled the phone. His dad just recently passed away, and his relationship with his dad was really strained, and his brother even had it worse. And the cool thing was I was able to share with him about my dad passing and some of the things that helped me get through that. And some of the things that when my mom passed, how I was able to get through that easier than some of my siblings. And so I was able to share some things with him that he's going to pass along to his brother. And Diane's just looking at me and she's like, "Why is it that you know all this when you just went there to buy a cell phone?" Like, I was just talking to the guy and he opened up to me. But I've looked at why this happens. And, I don't want that level of communication all the time with everybody, but I had an extended period of time with this guy and he was a great guy. And, my favorite quote, I've mentioned this before several times, Ralph Waldo Emerson: "Every man I meet is better than me in some way. From him I learn." Every man is better than me in some way. From him I learn. I learned some things from this cell phone sales dude at Costco that day. And he was able to learn some things from me. And both my life and I truly believe his life was a little bit better. Each of our lives was a little bit better coming away from that encounter. To me, that's a successful day. I don't do that every day. I won't open myself up. I compartmentalize way too much. I protect myself way too much to do that every single day at deep levels. But there's times that it's important. And the reason I got into law enforcement was simple. I wanted to make a difference. Now, as a retired sergeant from the San Diego Police Department, I can still make a difference. I just make a difference in a different way. So my closing thought for you today is this. What difference do you want to make? A big one? A medium one? None at all? I don't know. But ask yourself that. What difference do I want to make? Because at Tomorrow's Police Officer, I'm happy to share tools that if you want to make a big difference, want to make a little difference, you can do that easily. Until tomorrow, please stay safe. Look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.